Welcome to Type C Tech Reviews. Today we're going to be unboxing this Koorui 1440p gaming monitor. If at any point during the video you want to check out this exact same monitor, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. But we're going to unbox this and then we're going to do a gaming test, ghosting test, all of the above and initial impressions. Okay, so this monitor is 1440p, 90% of the DCI-P3 color space, and 144 hertz. Oh, and it's under $200. I think right now it's on sale for like 150 bucks, something around that. A pretty wild price, so let's see if it's any good. All right, so in the box we have a two-piece base with then a height adjustable section. So this is the height adjustable section, which actually does not look terrible at all. Plastic on the outside, metal backplate, looks like a lock-in stand, which is nice, and then metal inside of it. So it's actually not a super cheap feeling one. It's actually pretty nice. Then we have the other part of the stand, which again kind of hooks in to the bottom there, and we will need to screw those in, so a screwdriver is necessary here. All right, so before we put that together, also in the box you get a power cable, which makes me believe that this probably has an internal power supply, which is very nice. So now no power brick, which is actually a huge pro because these are really easy to replace. Then you get a DisplayPort cable and then your screws for screwing in the stand and, well, the manual. All right, so let's put together the stand, take these screws and then put them in there and screw them into the base. And guys, there we go. This is the finished stand. A pretty good looking stand, a little bit of red accenting up there, which I would have actually preferred not there, but you're never gonna see that. This is a pretty good looking stand, although it looks like there's no height adjustability. It looks like we're only gonna have tilt here, but hey, for that price, that is okay. If the monitor's any good, we're gonna be testing ghosting heavily here. All right, but let's get to the panel itself. Here it is, a little instruction on how to do it or how to plug in your cables. That's a little funny, but let's get this hooked up. We're gonna expose the back here, which actually looks pretty nice, and then hook in the stand. It looks like we do have to press that in. It's kind of a finicky stand. Maybe we have to press this in and then let it go. All right, line up the holes, which are not lining up very well. All right, there we go. Finally clipped in. It's a little bit difficult, but it's in now. And here is the back of the monitor. That's honestly a really good looking monitor, kind of Samsung-esque. We're gonna set it on the desk here, but the biggest thing is that it does not look like one of those budget Chinese monitors. Like, this looks really nice actually. All right, but let's go over the ports really quick. I'm gonna see if I can show you those. We've got two HDMIs, a DisplayPort, and then a 3.5mm audio out, and that is it. Then for the controls, we can see down here, we have this button layout. So that's probably not going to be the best menu system, but again, if this is good, under $200, yeah, that doesn't matter. Like, we can forgive that. The front of the panel, again, not height adjustable, but yeah, it looks pretty basic, looks pretty nice. Let's get this thing hooked up. We're gonna do a ghosting test, see how it is with ghosting, because that could be a potential deal breaker, even though it's a great price tag. We're gonna do a gaming test, go through the menu system, everything you want to know. Let's do it. All right, guys, now with it set up on the desk, I think it looks very attractive, honestly, and it does not look like a $150 monitor. I'm impressed with the stand, but enough jabbering. Let's turn it on. Power button's pretty far back, right there. A little illumination when it's on. All right, guys, now with it up, the bezels are actually not too thick, which is nice. It's not doing full refresh rate, so let's go in here and set this to 144 hertz. All right, now let's actually go into the menu system. And here is this menu system. I've used this before. It is definitely not my favorite menu system. You can see I'm actually pressing the wrong buttons. There we go. Let's go into brightness, and it is at 90%. Let's turn it all the way up. That got quite a bit brighter, which is nice. Good brightness overall, good vibrancy. We'll test the matte finish, although it does look a little thick, but nothing insane. But again, we will have to test that. We'll go into game here, and here is the overdrive settings. You have crosshairs, FreeSync Premium, which we will make sure that that is on. So turn that on. So obviously there is a little bit of maybe some polishing that needs to be done when you turn FreeSync on. Okay, for some reason it's locking it to 640 by 480, which is interesting. These are the things that you go through when you get kind of these like Chinese monitors, but whatever. Okay, so I was able to fix that just by going into NVIDIA control panel. So that's kind of an easy fix right there, and just setting a custom resolution, and then everything works great. So that is, you know, little bugs to deal with, but for the price, it's still completely okay. So you have like timers, you have your HDR settings, which we'll test in the full review coming in a few days. We'll go back here. I do know how to use this menu system because I've used some other Koorui monitors, and some other just random no-name monitors will use this. But here's some different modes right here. So those movie, FPS, RTS, iSaver, which we don't want. We're just going to set it in standard for now. But you can also change color temperature, other things like that, or you can reset it. And let's go into the other and see what's in there. The power off timer, and you can control your gamma, which is very, very nice actually. So you have two settings, either gamma 1 or gamma 2. All right, but with that, let's head into NVIDIA control panel, see if this thing can output 10 bits of color. I'm not expecting it to, but we'll see. So this is at full 1440p resolution, 144 hertz, and it can only output 8 bits of color, which is fine and definitely expected. But guys, with that, before we jump in game, let's test the ghosting because this is a VA panel. Okay, now here in the UFO test, there is a lot of ghosting. Now, we haven't changed any of the modes yet, so I'm not gonna judge it until we do that. Let's go into game. We are going to go into the overdrive settings. It's on off right now. There's normal, which we're gonna go into. Decreases it a little bit, yeah. And then extreme, which decreases it a little bit more. Still, pretty intense ghosting overall. There's definitely intense ghosting. Pretty common with VA panels that the darker the background gets, the significant amount of, like significantly more ghosting appears, where as you can see on the lighter background, significantly less. I'm gonna take the camera and show you guys what I'm seeing. So here you go. You can see on the lighter background, it's significantly less than on a darker background up there. But for around $150 to get 1440p 27 inches, not a entirely like 200 nit brightness panel, and a monitor that's actually capable of HDR, which I'm sure is going to be bad, but well, this could still be a good buy for 150 bucks. That's pretty freaking good, especially if what most of you play is just like maybe some Red Dead Redemption, more story-based games, not fast-paced games. This could be good. Now, fast-paced gaming, like ghosting is not the best experience in fast-paced gaming, but well, we're gonna test that now, see how it is. All right, guys, jumping in game here in Battlefield 1, the best Battlefield. The first thing is, it's amazing that we're getting a 1440p gaming experience, regardless of ghosting, at this price. I mean, amazing. The colors look pretty good. It's not the most vibrant panel in the world for sure, but these screens look very nice. It's definitely a pretty gaming experience. Not like, you know, super high-end gaming monitors. However, we don't expect that here. Now, the one thing that you will see is just you see these small dark spots, ghosting is 100% visible. Now, to many people that are not display enthusiasts, this isn't going to be as big of a deal, but there is a smearing effect in those areas. Now, some higher-end VA panels will only have that in very dark scenes, and it won't be as concentrated to the darker scenes. That's not true here. It's very concentrated. So, however, is this still an enjoyable gaming experience? Let's keep gaming and find out. The ghosting is very noticeable, especially in places like that, where you have some dark areas very close. We're also getting some red and green ghosting. So basically the red and green will snap. I'm gonna keep doing this and then in post I will show you. But you can see right here, we're getting that red and green ghosting. That happens, okay? So if you get this monitor, that's something that you're going to have to expect. All right, so gaming a little bit more here. You can see this is kind of a brighter map. We have the beautiful fire over here, gorgeous God rays there. And you know, this map, really not that much ghosting. So it's going to depend on the map. Here, this really doesn't bother me. A little bit of ghosting with, you know, the character right there running, but honestly, not that bad. Once you get into, let me go down in this trench and kind of show you, here is where it's like, oh my God, there is tons of red and green ghosting, basically the image ripping apart there. In terms of its color and ghosting. It looks really, really bad. However, at the same time, would I have worse ghosting but a 1440p 27-inch panel for 150 bucks? Like if I was in my, you know, younger self's position when I didn't have any money really, yeah, like I would for sure take this. So it really depends on the kind of person you are and the games that you want to play, but this is pretty amazing if you can deal with the ghosting. So when we go indoors here, this is where you get a lot more of that separation. The thing that I really do like is because it's a VA panel, you still have a higher contrast ratio. So it's still very pretty in areas like this. Obviously that contrast ratio is kind of voided in a way because you have that worse ghosting. So you can't appreciate the beauty and the clarity of a darker image on screen. However, for 150 bucks, this is still pretty amazing and a very enjoyable gaming experience. Battlefield 1 always is, but still quite good, even with the ghosting. Obviously, this is one of the better maps that you're going to see in terms of the performance, but yeah, I'm very happy with this for 150 bucks. I personally bought this, and yeah, I mean, it's pretty impressive that they can pack that amount of performance into that price point. Very, very good. Now, the ghosting Yes, for some people, if you are prone to noticing ghosting, getting really annoyed with ghosting, this has a lot of it, so don't buy this monitor. But if you aren't super prone to ghosting, or if you aren't super prone to noticing ghosting, and that's not gonna bother you, and really what you want is that 1440p resolution and an attractive monitor. Like the monitor looks very attractive. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like you can't go wrong. I'm gonna do a full review, go into all the specs, do all the testing, so make sure to subscribe, coming in a few days. But do I recommend this monitor as of now? Well, yes, if ghosting doesn't bother you and you want a 1440p 27-inch gaming monitor at a cheap price point, yeah, I think I do right now. But again, if you wanna check this out, there are Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links, or wait for my review coming in a few days. That'll be the full in-depth testing, living with it, using it, giving my opinion, and giving the results of all of our tests. But yeah, this is Type-C Tech Reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next video.